Hey there friends, welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm of course Paul Glasgow here, the one and only truth pimp, dealing you a vulgar display of logic and reason on a daily basis. Today we're going to talk about my favorite disabled gay person, Don Lemon. Don Lemon, known for saying stupid, smart aleck things, but not known for being very bright, hence being disabled according to Ketanji Brown Token yesterday. We're going to talk about that today. And we're going to talk about two of the inflammatory things that he most recently said and how it could get him in a little trouble, but definitely dangerous and reckless to be saying to other people who may not understand the law. First, guys, if you don't mind, take a look at my friend Durya. These are my new carry pistols from Durya. I am carrying one of each, depending on the day. I like to rotate my guns. I'm a little nerdy like that because I want to give my guns, if nothing else, a break where I can clean them. So I'll rotate typically between one or two firearms. And in this case, I'm rotating between my two DY9s. One of them has the island barrel and island slide, which is essentially the island kit that can go on any of the DY9s. And then my other one is just your standard DY9. Love these guns. To my knowledge, no offense here, there are no unintended discharges from a Durya DY9, so check them out. Durya, my new partners, my new carry gun. They support the channel. Please support them. Don Lemon just dropped two impossibly stupid claims. One, that breaking the law to illegally enter the country isn't breaking the law. And two, that illegal aliens should go out and purchase firearms to shoot ICE when they come to their homes, to deport them back to their own country because they illegally entered the country. First, I'm going to show you the clip, and this one, look, once you get past the pain of this clip, because it's painful to watch how stupid and disabled he is, being a black man, thank you, Ketanji Brown Token. Once you get past how painful it is to watch, then it becomes humorous. But boy, you got to get past that painfulness first. So I'm going to show this clip. Understand that it gets better. Like, it starts to become funny, but at first you're like, this dude is stupid.
Crossing the border illegally is not a crime?
No, it's not a criminal act. Okay. It's a misdemeanor.
So why are they being sent back and saying that they're breaking the law?
That's the point.
Okay, as somebody that actually...
We don't know if they're breaking the law because they won't tell. There's no due process. Where's the evidence? That's the whole point. And if they are breaking the law, most people will say, okay, then they need to go if they're criminals. But if they're not, why are they being rounded up and sent out? Especially when he promised to deport the criminals. And now he's not doing that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going...
Misdemeanor is not a crime, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So misdemeanor is not a crime?
It's not a criminal act, no. If you get charged with a misdemeanor, that's not a criminal act.
So why get charged at all then, if it's not a criminal act?
Because we have different levels of crime. Everything is not the same.
So it is crime.
No,
it's just
we
different
have different levels of. I shouldn't say crime, but it's not. It's not a crime. You're not breaking the law. I mean, you are breaking the law, but it's not a criminal act.
So it's breaking the law.
No, you're not breaking the law.
The misdemeanor is not breaking the law.
No.
If you're speeding, drinking, get pulled over, DUI.
That's not a criminal act. Well, no, if you're speeding is a misdemeanor.
It's a misdemeanor.
Right.
So it's still breaking the law.
Okay, well, if you want to qualify that, we're doing semantics.
Because
but what I'm saying, but what I'm trying to tell you is everything is not the same. It's all not one thing.
But is it the law?
What is it? The law that what?
Is it a law to come over legally? Is there a law?
There are rules that are processes that you should follow. Yeah, so you're breaking rules. You're breaking the rules, but you're not necessarily breaking a law.
You sure about that?
So illegal entry isn't a crime, it's a misdemeanor. Y'all do know that a misdemeanor is a crime, right?
It's not a crime. You're not breaking the law. I mean, you are breaking the law, but it's not a criminal act.
Like the lady said, who's not. She's an immigrant. She came here, learned our laws, told a disabled man, Don Lemon, the proper context of the law, and Don, who was born and raised here, argued with her, telling her she was wrong. We have somebody from another country schooling a born and raised American. That shows how stupid our school system and how bad our school system is. Don Lemon, clearly a product of the public school system, just got owned by an immigrant who learned about our country and our laws, and he was born and raised here and never learned these things. Yet he's trying to school her. Like, he's literally trying to shame her. Like, you understand what I'm saying? The things that the left always talks about, saying that we're mansplaining things whenever we explain things to somebody. He's trying to Amerisplain something to an immigrant. And I'm using that term facetiously, but you understand the context of what I'm saying. He's trying to act like, oh, I'm from here. Like, I'm born and raised here. I'm an American. You're just an immigrant. I know better than you. Even though she is literally schooling his ass, he's Amerisplaining to her as if she's wrong. And just because he was born and raised here, he automatically is gifted with a natural American intelligence and knowledge of our current legal system. And she literally knows better and schools him on it. It's a thing of beauty. But I do have to set the record straight. The claim that illegal entry is not a crime, it's a misdemeanor. Let me translate that. Don is basically saying, I say the law is whatever I want it to be. Actual law says otherwise. Improper entry is explicitly criminalized by Congress under 8 U.S.C. 1325. First offenses can carry fines and up to 6 months in jail. Repeated offenses are worse. That is a crime. If the thing you do causes you to spend 6 months in jail, that's a crime. Don can call it whatever he wants. He can use whatever noun to describe the thing that gets you sent to jail. But in legal speak and proper terms, like this immigrant lady points out, it is absolutely a crime, and your butt will go to jail. So don't listen to Don, because Don will have your ass thrown in jail. Don is the perfect example of what Ketanji Brown Token was talking about. He's disabled, at least mentally. So if I use Don's logic that misdemeanors are not crimes, can I share with you a list of misdemeanors that Don is saying you should be able to go out and commit? Because they're not crimes. Oh, according to him, it's breaking a rule, which that was incorrect. But it's breaking laws. But can I share with you this list of misdemeanors that seem really aloof to old Don here, like something you should just brush off because it's just a misdemeanor? Let me share those with you. Domestic battery, just a misdemeanor. Punching your spouse or your partner or anyone else, even if no serious injury occurs, is often charged as a misdemeanor battery. It's 100% a crime for beating your old lady up. You will get arrested, you will get booked, and it goes on your record because it is a crime. Driving while intoxicated or driving under the influence. You're fined. License suspension up to 1 year in jail for a misdemeanor. Driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs is generally a misdemeanor unless someone gets hurt. Tell any officer or judge that a misdemeanor ain't a crime and see how that goes after you blow a .14 on a breathalyzer test. But according to Don, that's just a little rule that's broken. It's not breaking a crime. That misdemeanor is the same as crossing the border illegally. Reckless endangerment. You get up to 1 year in jail. Also a misdemeanor. This covers stupidly dangerous behavior that risks injury like, I don't know, firing a gun into the air, speeding through a school zone. Yeah, those kinds of misdemeanors. According to Don, not a crime. Animal cruelty. According to Don Lemon, not a crime. Penalty is up to 1 year in jail. Neglecting or abusing a pet without killing it often lands as a misdemeanor, but it's still a criminal act with long-term consequences. But according to Don, not a crime. Okay to break. And this last one's going to bring me into my next segment of the video. Carrying a firearm without a permit. That is a misdemeanor. Penalty is 6 months to 1 year in jail, depending on the state. In restrictive states like California and New York, simply having a firearm in your car without the correct permit is a misdemeanor, even if you've harmed no one. Try telling a law enforcement officer that, hey man, it's just a misdemeanor, it's not a crime. You're still going to ride in the back seat of that car on the way to the jailhouse, but according to Don, that's just a misdemeanor, it's not a crime. Maybe the next time you commit any of these misdemeanors that I just mentioned, turn your phone on, because I really want to see this, and tell the cop that's trying to handcuff you that he has no right to handcuff you because you've only broken a rule, according to Don Lemon. Misdemeanor's not a crime. A misdemeanor is not a non-crime. It's literally defined as a criminal offense. It's just not a felony. Federal law recognizes two main classes of crimes. I repeat, there are two main classes of crimes: felonies and misdemeanors. Those are the two main classes of crimes, not rules, crimes. So when Don Lemon says it's not a crime, it's a misdemeanor, he might as well have said it's not a mammal, it's just a dog. Now the real howler. And this is the one that is reckless and dangerous for him to be saying this to people, or saying it openly to try to encourage and incite violence against federal workers. Watch this clip.
I think that these are the times that the Second Amendment was written for.
Damn.
And when you have a government, a tyrannical government that is taking over the streets and not abiding by the Constitution, that's the whole idea what the Second Amendment was meant for, was written for. That's what's happening right now. So I'm surprised the right wing isn't up in arms saying, oh my gosh, we have a tyrannical government that has military out on the streets against its own citizens. We need to believe in the Second Amendment. We need to believe in states' rights. What happened to smaller government? What happened to don't get into my business? Let me deal with my business because I'm a conservative. They're the ones who would be outraged. Imagine if this was on the left. What the hell would be happening? So I say, perhaps people who are having to deal with this, the least of these, the citizens who are being scooped up, the American citizens who are being scooped up, perhaps they need to really figure out what the Second Amendment is really about and go out and do it legally and purchase some things, because you never know when someone's going to come to your house and knock on the door and try to take you away, even if you're an American citizen. And I know it's happening because I interviewed people in Chicago who it happened to, and I know that they're American citizens because I saw their passports, their government IDs, and their social security cards. And when you came to their house, you didn't want to see it.
Okay, first I have to address the seemingly purposeful lisp of Don Lemon. Maybe he's got a retainer in, so maybe it's like an accident or something like that. But I mean, I understand that a pronunciation of your S's really well, and throwing a TH in there when you say things that have an S in them is kind of an internal purposeful dog whistle of gay people to, I guess, announce that you are in fact gay and you are ready. But telling people to go buy a gun and to shoot ICE agents when they come to your house, folks, it's not harmless talk. It can actually be unlawful speech. Depending on the wording, the context, how it's acted on, that advice can lead to federal crimes. This guy may have just committed a federal crime on video, suggesting people go out and purchase firearms in order to shoot ICE when they come to your home. I mean, he's wrong about the whole dictatorial thing or tyrannical thing. I mean, that's just blather. We all know better than that. So that nobody even even people on the left know that that's bull. They know that ICE is going to these communities to get illegal people out. His comment about saying that he saw passports or whatever from people who have been extracted from their homes by ICE, that's a lie. There are no American citizens being deported. To where? If you're being deported, you're being deported to the country that you're a citizen of. If you're a citizen of America, you cannot be deported because you are an American, and you would be deported to America. So he's lying. In fact, he says he has it all on video. Where's the video? When you actually have proof of something like that, wouldn't that be groundbreaking? Like if he actually had video of people's social security cards, which please don't tell me you're naive enough to think that because someone has a social security card that they must be here legally, right? Please. I have seen illegal social security cards before, right? So if you are going to make that kind of a claim, because that's pretty amazing. I mean, that's remarkable. It's something that most of us know better than. So when we would see it, we would go, wow, that's crazy. So if he actually had video or even photographic proof that people who were American citizens and could prove that they were. I don't mean green card, which that too, they're not being deported either. But I'm talking about somebody who is officially an American citizen. And you can show that they were deported, they were gathered up by ICE and sent to another country. Wouldn't that be groundbreaking? Wouldn't that be headline grabbing? Wouldn't every single media outlet out there show that? Wouldn't Don Lemon be finally probably offered another job because he's unemployed right now? If he truly had that proof? We haven't seen it because he doesn't have it. He's lying. But solicitation to commit a federal crime of violence is covered under statute 18 U.S.C. 373. If someone intentionally encourages or tries to persuade another person to commit a federal violent felony, which is what he just said, shooting federal agents, statute 373 can apply. The statute criminalizes solicitation to commit federal crimes of violence, and rightfully so. Also, conspiracy to impede or injure a federal officer, U.S.C. 372. If two or more people agree and take a step to prevent or injure a federal officer doing their job, 372 can apply. Organizing others to harm agents could trigger this. If someone follows the advice and fires on agents, they will also face state homicide, attempted murder charges, weapons charges, likely federal enhancement statutes. Conspiracies, obstruction, and related offenses are common follow-ups in this case. So what he's doing is he's trying to encourage illegal aliens who are already here illegally, unbeknownst to him. They are committing a crime. They are here illegally. They're only going to add to those crimes because guess what? No, they cannot exercise our Second Amendment rights because they're our Second Amendment rights, meaning Americans. They don't have a Second Amendment right as a non-citizen of America. Do they have a fundamental right to defend themselves? Like I'm talking about a born right? Yeah. They do have a right to defend themselves, but they don't have Second Amendment protection in this country because they're not a citizen. Citizens of America have that Second Amendment protection. Not illegal aliens. Again, you do have a fundamental right. That's what the Second Amendment recognizes as Americans. It recognizes our God-given right to protect ourselves. They also have the same God-given right. They're just not Americans, so the Second Amendment protection does not apply to them when they're in this country. I know that sounds a little muddy, but it is what it is, and that is an absolute fact. So if they have a firearm here, they obtained it illegally, because they cannot purchase a firearm if they are an illegal alien, which is why they are being picked up in the first place. So Don is trying to encourage them to commit another crime on top of all their other ones. The First Amendment protects a lot of speech, but it does not protect speech that is directed to inciting imminent lawless action and is likely to produce such action. Saying go buy a gun and shoot ICE agents when they come is more closer to unprotected incitement or solicitation than to abstract political advocacy. That makes criminal liability very plausible in this case. And if someone follows his advice, not only will he be in trouble or can he be in trouble, they're going to face state federal crimes. I mean, I listed all the statutes. Don't follow Don Lemon's advice. And look, man, although Don is clearly disabled, according to Ketanji Brown Token, I don't think he's stupid. So I have to believe in this case that he knows what he's saying. Why is he saying that? Why is he trying? I mean, obviously, in terms of the law, if he knows what he's talking about and he's still brave enough to say these stupid things on camera that crossing the border illegally is not breaking a law, then maybe he is stupid. But I think that you don't have to understand the nature of the law to understand that when you tell people they should go buy a gun to shoot federal agents that are there to pick you up because you've committed a crime illegally entering this country. I don't think that that is a, you don't have to be an attorney to know that that's wrong. That's common sense. I understand that that's a waning thing in this country, but it is common sense. So is Don saying this because he's trying to understand what I'm saying here? Is he positioning himself knowing that he's talking to some weak-minded people that might take his advice and fire on federal agents, knowing they're going to fire back, and they're likely going to wipe out the entire household, because if federal agents are fired upon whenever they're trying to enter a home, they have to assume that danger exists throughout that home. So at some point, children, women will likely be killed at the hands of federal agents there to deport somebody, but also they're being fired upon by illegal aliens and they're trying to defend themselves, so they fire back and kill people. My point is this something Don wants to happen so that there are stronger arguments from the left that, oh, now we really shouldn't be deporting people because, these people are trying to defend themselves. They fired on federal agents. Federal agents murdered a 4-year-old or 4-month-old, and the mom was holding the baby in its arms when she was shot and killed. Is that what Don is trying to do? So there can be better headlines out there? So that there can be a better argument that, oh, now we need to stop federal agents from doing any of this because a 4-month-old died in its mother's hands? Is he hoping for that? So that he has a better argument on his side as to keeping ICE from going into these homes? So Don, I know you're disabled, but if you're listening, read the statutes, read the laws, or just shut the F up. Because you're going to get somebody killed. Your microphone doesn't make you a lawyer, and it certainly doesn't make you above the law. If you're going to lecture the public about violence and guns, at least do it without pushing people to commit felonies. Look, words have consequences. If some talking head, whether it's me or whether it's a disabled person like Don Lemon, tells you to shoot federal officers, don't listen to them. You make up your own mind as to how to properly defend yourself. But if you're here illegally, the same protections that protect me when I'm protecting my family when somebody tries to enter my home, it's a lot different than yours. If federal agents at this point, because I've done nothing wrong, if federal agents tried to kick my door in, I would be right to fire back at them. Brian Malinowski in Arkansas had every right to shoot at federal agents because they were illegally entering his home. So I would have that same right. In fact, they will lose that court case eventually. Eventually that will be taken care of in court, and Malinowski's wife will win a large sum of money. I would win that also if they kicked in my door, because I've done nothing wrong. They have no reason to be here. When ICE kicks an illegal alien's door in, they have every right to do so. Therefore, if something happens and pops off, they're not going to have the same protections I do. Don't let disabled idiots talk you into doing something stupid like this guy. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about, or if he does, he is recklessly trying to incite violence out there just to have more stuff to talk about on his little unwatched podcast. Guys, if you liked the video, please hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. And again, as I always say, if you don't see a video from me, a notification from me daily, something's wrong. Go look for the video at Legally Armed America on the YouTube channel here, because I put a video out every single day. So if you're not seeing it, it means that somebody's not showing it to you. Go look for it, because it's out there. Tomorrow, there will be another video just like this one today. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you sharing the video. And again, please ask your friends or family members if they like similar content to also like and subscribe to the Legally Armed America channel. Don't forget, guys, if you're looking for a book to educate yourself and to educate the idiots out there who can't think for themselves regarding mass shootings, go to damnliars.net. Again, damnliars.net, and get my brand new book, Damn Liars.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.